Beachfront Park has been a focal point of Crescent City for over half a century. Throughout those years, the park has evolved alongside the city, reflecting not only the wishes of the community, but the identity of the town as well.
Starting in 1962, plans were laid out by the city to convert the dunes and the beach adjacent to Front Street into a municipal park. How was the land used before the advent of the park?
According to local historian Sharon McKinney, it was used for many of the same activities it's still used for.
It was used exactly the same way it's used now. 4th of July celebrations, family picnics, birthday parties, all that same sort of thing happened, except it happened on sand.
In early 1964, construction began on the pool and things were coming along nicely until the tsunami in March of that same year. While the destruction of downtown shifted the timeline, it did not change the overall vision of the park.
Well, after the tsunami, the Corps of Engineers came and with great bulldozers pushed all the broken buildings down to the edge of the park, or park now, and built the 16-foot seawall. And if you look carefully when you walk around there, you'll see pieces of rebar sticking out of old foundations and pieces of tile flooring and all kinds of old stuff. So there they were with this lovely seawall, and so they filled it in with silt and planted the trees and the grass and built it the way it is now.
Piece by piece, over the next 30 years, many landmarks were added to the park, giving it a distinctive personality. The early 90s saw the addition of the two most beloved features of the park.
In 1992, the North Coast Marine Mammal Center was built and continues to rescue and treat injured and distressed sea mammals. The next year saw the creation of much-loved Kidtown.
It was wonderful. It took a whole year to plan. They got all the pieces together and people together, and then they built it in 72 hours. It was absolutely amazing. I had the best job. They would bring, people would bring food for the workers, and I would run over to the gate and get a plate of hot cinnamon rolls and run around and give them to the workers and pretend like I baked them. It was a very good job. But we fed them well. A lot of local businesses provided drinks and food and stuff for the workers. But it was like watching an anthill. I mean, everybody showed up and everybody had a job, and voila, we had Kidtown.
Like Kidtown, the appeal of many of Beachfront Park's attractions has spanned generations. When one of them wears out, it makes the paper.
Present-day Beachfront Park remains a popular gathering spot for locals and tourists alike. The biggest annual event occurring in the park continues to be the 4th of July, organized by the Crescent City Del Norte Chamber of Commerce.
Executive Director of the Chamber, Jeff Palmer, explains how big a job putting on the 4th of July is.
Well, we start setting up on the 2nd. The city does a great job with getting the park prepared, and then we start marking vendor spots on the 2nd. They start showing up on the 3rd. So July 3rd, leading up to the deck party, which starts at 5, just involves a lot of work in the park, getting ready for the event itself. And then we have the deck party from 5 to 8 right here on the lawn.
Another event that brings many people to Beachfront Park is the Sea Cruise Classic Car Show in October.
This will be the 26th annual, and it's a great event for the community because of when it happens. It's always Columbus Day weekend. We're willing to roll the dice with the weather because usually about 80% of the time it is nice.
This Labor Day, the park will host Crescent City's first ever sanctioned barbecue contest.
This year our barbecue contest, the Redwood Coast Grills Gone Wild, is a Kansas City barbecue sanctioned event. So the winner is a qualifier to go to nationals in Kansas City, and we have over $9,500 in prize money.
In addition to these annual events, there's one attraction in the park that draws people every day the weather allows. The only waterfront 24-hole disc golf course on the West Coast. But for Palmer, the importance of Beachfront Park lies beyond the outdoor activities and events it hosts.
Well, it's very valuable because of not just the outdoor activities and Kids Town, but other events that not just the Chamber puts on in the park. There's a lot of different events that happen within the park by different organizations. If you've seen the master plan for Beachfront Park, it's really exciting because in the future, hopefully, we would have like an amphitheater, and we would also have like a marketplace area, which I think would be really good.
The Beachfront Park Master Plan entails large-scale additions and renovations to the park and Front Street that will improve the quality of life for residents and foster economic development. Kimmy Scott, Administrative Analyst, City Clerk, and Public Information Officer for the City of Crescent City, explains the 2-year process behind drafting the master plan.
And so the city held a series of community meetings, like town hall meetings, and questioned people what they wanted to see in the park. And so we got back a whole lot of data from that. And between working with the staff at the city and the consultants, sort of started drafting some master plans. And that went through a series of revisions through the Planning Commission and then to the City Council. And the final master plan was adopted in 2013.
The changes incorporated in the master plan are more than simply cosmetic, they're structural.
The final plan, I believe there's 36 elements to the final plan. Some of them are a lot more visible, or will be visible when it's all done, than others. You know, the big ones include like the amphitheater. There's plans for a large amphitheater. Dog park, which is getting ready to break ground next week actually, and some of the landscaping and tree planting's already been done on that. We are also getting ready to start the Coastal Access Project, which you know, especially for you guys around your age, you probably know you have to climb over all these rocks down here to get down to the beach. And this is not only going to provide a pathway down to the beach, but is even going to provide some ADA access down to the beach.
While the planned improvements sound impressive, they come with a cost the city can't cover all at once.
And so you expand things out over years, the cost of things changes. But the city's working really hard to do things in phases, and we're always on the lookout for grants and funding possibilities. And so we've tried to jump on those possibilities as we can and sort of phase things in.
While the city estimates the plan could take 10 years to fully implement, Scott feels the time and money required will be well spent.
And we feel like Beachfront Park is really the gym for the community. It's this beautiful asset. And the more that people are here and using it, like I said, it's quality of life for the citizens that live here, but it's also the people that are driving through. You know, when they see this, they stop and they check it out, and people create good memories here on both sides, our visitors and our citizens.
From childhood soccer games, to hanging with friends under a canopy of fireworks, to walking a dog by the shore, the story of Beachfront Park is one we all share. And sharing stories is key to the very idea of community. As local historian Sharon McKinney says,
I think in order to own living in a place, you have to know the stories. And there's a story.